to the Must See podcast every Thursday night. Welcome to TRC Wrestling Talk. Got myself, the host, Kev Wiseman. We got Brian Halbeth. We got Will, our tribal chief. We got Calvin, the Gator Man. Ben, Tag Champ Bowman. Roger Elkins, the second. Wrestling main champ. And we have the self-proclaimed guru, Manuel. How y'all doing?
Roger ain't shit.
Wow.
We're
Where's
already
Dr.
starting.
Nick?
Fuck Brian.
The PD.
Already? The PDC. The
Yeah.
Panty Dropper Champion, remember?
That's right.
Fuck that guy.
I thought it meant pipe dick cleaner, but
Hey,
That's
Roger.
what I thought it meant.
Roger. That's what she said, too. Fuck that guy.
all right, guys, we're going to get started. We're going to hand this over to my best friend, Will.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
So we're going to start this week with a quick road story, and then I know we're going to go into the round table. And guys, just so you know, when we get into the round table, sometimes you're going to get the same question over and over, but hopefully it's to a different person. But quick road story. Back in 2022, and I suck with dates. I always have to ask Ben, when was that? But back in 2022, we were at the convention in Indianapolis, because I'm going to stop naming conventions because I'm no longer going to give any credit to any convention. I'm just going to say where they were. But we were at the convention in Indianapolis, and I had a trading card that I needed to get signed by Chelsea Green. And we brought in a talent, great talent, young talent, very friendly with all the other young talents. And we were all in the room hanging out, and we heard a ruckus outside the door. It was almost like Santa Claus had landed on the roof on Christmas. And so we open the door and we look, and it's Chelsea, it's Matt Cardona, it's Brian Myers, it's Gallows and Anderson, and and our talent that we brought in too. Most of you guys already know who that was hanging out of his door talking to him. And I said, oh, hey, look, there's Chelsea. Let me see if she'll sign my card real quick. Now, just so you know, we were at a convention. And, sometimes at conventions, you have quite a bit of cash on you. Sometimes you don't. I mean, it's just the way it goes. And I had about $4,000, true story, in my pocket. Wow. And so I grabbed a trading card and a marker. It wasn't even a paint marker. It was a Sharpie. And I walked out in the hallway because everybody was stopped out in the hallway, and they were all drinking. And there was a couple bottle caps laying on the floor where they popped open some bottle caps, and really shitty considering there was a lot of children around and children stepped on those. And I've told this story before, but it's 100% true. And I walked up because our talent was standing there that we brought in, that we paid to fly in, that we paid to be there, that we paid for his hotel, that we paid for his meals. I mean, if it wasn't for us, he would have never been there, But he was a tremendous talent, and he was tremendous to us. But I walked over next to him thinking, hey, he's friends with them, and we'll go from there. And I said, Chelsea, hi, do you mind signing my card? And she immediately said, no, you can go and wait in line like everybody else tomorrow and pay to have your card signed. And I thought, ooh, wow. That was really rude. Now, first of all, again, I had quite a bit of cash on me. I would have gladly handed her the $20 or $30, whatever it was, to sign the card. But I had the opportunity to get it done, knowing the next day would be hard for me to get over there and get the card signed because I was working the table with my talent, who she was standing there talking to. And my talent then said, whoa, hang on, these are the guys that brought me in. But by that time, she was storming down the hallway like a 7-year-old having a temper tantrum, and her husband was following behind. And what made it even worse and made it really embarrassing was, what's his name? Kurt Hawkins. What is his name again? What's his real name?
Brian Myers?
Yeah, Brian Myers. So he's sitting there and he laughs, and then Gallows laughs, and they all start kind of laughing about the way she just treated this fan. And because they didn't know who I was, they didn't know I brought in my guests, and they didn't know who we were. And Bowman was right there next to me, and I'm sure some of the other guys were kind of coming out the door where we were too. And they all thought it was funny to treat a fan that way in the hallway of a hotel. And that just gives you a really good perception and a really good idea of the real people that some of them are. Not necessarily just a character playing a role on television or anything like that, but a true look into what a real person they are. Just downright nasty folks. And I always had this horrible taste in my mouth after that for her and a couple of the other talents. And I've seen several of the talents at other shows, and I've seen one of the talents sign in for as little as $10 at a show, and I wouldn't walk over and get something signed for even $10 because I would never support somebody that would treat fans that way or laugh because another talent had treated a fan that way. But those things happen. Now, I will say my talent and Ben's talent, TRC's talent, all of our talent, and I apologize for referring to it as my talent, but our talent went over to them and said, hey, these guys brought us in, and these guys bring in a lot of talent, and they work with a lot of people, and they have a big influence with a lot of the people that we do business with. That's not cool. So the next day, she did apologize several times to my wife. I wouldn't go to the table, but I did want the card signed. I wouldn't go over to get it signed. I wouldn't go over to the table, but my wife did, and she did apologize several times. And my talent tried to explain why she acted that way, and she tried to explain to my wife why she acted that way. But at that point, it didn't matter. The damage was done. So I think the last time I told this story, I think the way I recapped it the best was, even though she wasn't my hero, she's somebody's hero out there. And just like every one of those guys in that hallway that night was somebody's hero. And sometimes, you really shouldn't meet your heroes. Even if it wasn't my personal hero, it's somebody's hero. And it was such a shame that they acted that way.
That's a great
Yeah.
story. I've heard it before. I was actually there. I wasn't there. I was I think in my room, but because that was like my first convention. But yeah. So awesome story. You want to go on and get into the round table, brother?
I do. And let me make sure. I'm going to try to make sure I ask different questions to different people. But if you get the same question, I'm sorry. But we'll start with Roger Elkins. Roger Elkins, welcome back. Glad to have you. Good to see you. You're looking clean shaven, looking good.
Oh yeah. Woo!
Thank you.
Roger, what is the greatest main event in WrestleMania history? Main event.
Oof. That's a tough one because there have been quite a few. I mean, obviously, you can't go. It doesn't go without saying Hulk and Andre, but you've had quite a few that were. It all depends on the person. Mine, of course, Hulk and Andre.
All right, very good. Manuel, what's the greatest championship title design of all time? And yes, again, some of you guys have heard these questions, but I try to mix them up.
I like Big Gold.
Big Gold.
I like Big Gold. I mean, it's when you see a picture of it, no matter who's wearing it, especially Flair, just fucking pops.
Gotcha. So
Oh, yeah.
when you
What
see
about
the Big
Edge?
Gold, when you see the Big Gold, you think in the back of your mind, woo! Every time you see the Big Gold,
I do. Or I think, let me tell you something, brother.
there you go. There you go. All right, Calvin, what do you think is the greatest cage match of all time in the WWF?
Oof.
It's just an opinion. Doesn't have to be right or wrong.
The greatest cage match. It'll make me think for a second. I mean, I ain't gonna really say it was a cage match. The Punjabi
Prison
match
match?
or whatever it had. Yeah, it had Randy Orton and
Great
what's his
Khali?
name?
Jinder Mahal.
Oh, Jinder,
Yeah, Jinder Mahal. Yeah, that was a great one.
Yep.
Because
Punjabi
I
prison match.
I get-
Punjabi
I get-
prison match.
Yeah, I get crapped on
Nice.
for liking that match, but it was very good. I liked it.
You remember when Batista and Khali had that match too?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep. All right, Dr. Nick. Greatest Starrcade WCW ever produced.
Well, considering, it was my first one actually watching on pay-per-view, so I have, a sentimental attachment to it. Plus, I thought it was really good anyway. Starrcade 97. I think that
Yeah.
main event, was just so, people were, it's so much anticipation of, seeing it that I don't think they, I mean, yeah, WCW was around, long after that, but I think 97 was probably their greatest year. So to have such a monumental pay-per-view, and as you know, Starrcade was their WrestleMania, and to have, two icons like that, that will always stand out to me.
I think that's excellent because I can tell you right now, I've seen every Starrcade there ever was, and '97 always sticks out. It always sticks out. There was so many great matches other than the main event, and the main event wasn't even that good, honestly. But there were so many other matches on that card that were good. Another one that sticks out in my mind is Starrcade '96. Great, tremendous matches in '96 when you had Piper and Hogan too. So, great answer. I like that Starrcade '97. Let's go to Brian. I know you don't have a lot of WCW knowledge, but we'll throw it out there anyway. Vader's greatest rival.
Jesus.
Wow.
I'd say Sting.
Yeah, I think that's been done before, but I tell you what, it's hard to beat a Vader Sting rival, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
Real great pick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ben Bowman, let's go to you. Let's say let me run a weird scenario by you like I did last week. I think I did it to Kev last week. Montreal Screwjob happened in '97, but Brett never leaves. He just loses the title. Never leaves WWF, but loses the title. Shawn gets hurt 2 months later at the Rumble. What happens to Brett?
So 97, he gets the belt back, have a rival with Stone Cold. Continue the rival. We got Undertaker still there, or starting to build up that. Or maybe have Brett versus Undertaker. So you have Brett versus Undertaker, Brett versus Stone Cold. You have a young Rock. Like I said, I would like to see those matches, but it didn't happen. But if he stayed, that'd be a good thing. And then I know you can't really say it, but I think if he stayed, you might not have seen, the British Bulldog, Neidhart go off to WCW. Owen might still be around. I don't know. Granted, that was a fluke. That was an accident where he, died from falling, but he could still be around. If Brett was still there, because Brett could probably talk to him and be like, "No, don't do that." Yeah.
Can you imagine the possibilities of one decision, how much it could have changed the world of wrestling? I mean, just the imagination, of one decision. All right, Kev Buckler, I believe you're the only one left, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, Kev. Ric Flair, woo, or Macho Man? Who is the greatest influence between those two in the WWF?
On the WWF, it's Macho Man.
Why?
I'll give you why. I don't think that they gave Ric Flair his credit in WWF. He could have been. I know, of course, he got the belt twice, but he still could have been so much more. I don't think he was given that much more chance. He could have been Hogan stature, way up there, but he wasn't Vince's creation. So, and Savage was there longer. So I just think Savage just has more of the inspiration. When you think of Ric Flair, you think WCW, NWA. When you hear of Savage, you may think WCW, but you're going to go to the WWF days. That's who you think of more than anything else when they're referred. So I just think that Flair, like I said, he's great. So that's why they put the belt on him, but he could have just been so much. Vince could have pushed him and done more with him than he really did. And I believe it's because Flair wasn't his product.
I like it. I really like it. And there's so much more. There's so in depth. You could really go into that conversation
Yeah.
with Flair and Savage. one thing that's always disturbed me as a fan, and some of you guys may agree, or some of you may not, especially if you're a Hulkster, fan, brother. But Macho Man's longest title reign, world title reign, was his first Winged Eagle. After that, all his title reigns were always very, very short, even his
Yes.
W7 title reigns. And I never thought that was right. I felt like, especially in WCW, he should have had the belts much longer, and they were all extremely short. So, but that's, a full conversation for a different evening. But I enjoyed you guys participating in the roundtable. Anybody got any questions?
Well, I want to say
I
real
got a
fast,
question for you.
hold on.
Go ahead.
Even
got
the
one.
Macho Man, when his first world title, it was seconded by Hogan because it was at World War III, and Hogan didn't get thrown over the top rope, so Macho Man did, and the refs didn't see it. So I just always thought that, I love Hogan. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Hogan fan. Always thought that Hogan kind of held, Macho back a little bit. He was just always there to, especially in WCW. If Macho Man got ahead, Hogan had to be there to step him down. I'm sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
I got a question for you, Will. Out of all of the world heavyweight champions, you combine WCW, WWE, in your opinion, who should have never been a heavyweight champion?
Oh, man.
Wow.
You're talking
That is
about
a-
all of them?
In all of it.
Oh,
The
wow.
whole, just one that you don't feel like should have been a world heavyweight champion.
Can I
Man,
name
that's-
one real fast?
Go ahead.
Jack
Yeah.
Swagger.
Can I name one? David Arquette.
Man, it's so hard because no matter how you answer it, there's going to be somebody that says, well, that's not right because they earned that title. But I will say in later years, WWE, I think that they put too much faith in Edge as a world champion, and I think that they put far too much faith into Dolph Ziggler as a world champion. Now, if you want to go more yours and mine time period, like mid 90s, I love the guy, absolutely love the guy, and he deserved his world titles. But putting the belt on Kevin Nash from Goldberg, I think was the wrong move. I think you could have done that in a much better way. I believe that there was plenty of feuds that were happening, and I think the best way to do it probably would have been in, if you remember Road Wild '98, there was this battle royal where it was Goldberg versus like all of the NWO, and I think you could have beaten him in a style like that, and you wouldn't have taken away his run. You wouldn't have taken away his hot streak, because you got to remember, a lot of people think Goldberg was like an umpteen-time world champion, and in WCW, he only ever held the world title one time. And people think it was this monumentous, long title reign. It was about 6 months, and it was only one championship reign. I think, Kevin Nash was more than deserving to be a world champion, but I think they did it wrong by letting him beat Goldberg the way he did. And for that, I would say Kevin Nash was an undeserving champion during that time period. Now, if you want to fast forward to WrestleMania 22, who in the hell would have put the world championship on Rey Mysterio? But again, I'm sure somebody out there loves Rey, and that's not the nice thing to say. But honestly, why in the hell was Rey Mysterio ever in the world championship match?
Yeah, it's just because Eddie died. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's it. That's my opinion.
I'll make it short. Can I throw one at Will?
Yeah, go ahead.
Of course.
What happens to Lex's career if he doesn't show up at the Mall of America on Nitro?
So, they were using him as almost a jobber at the point he left in '95. He was taking losses. He wasn't on major pay-per-view cards. And, you have to look at it this way, and you can go back and look at this, historically, but '94 WrestleMania, he's in the main event. Even though it was earlier in the night, he's in the main event against Yokozuna. By the time King of the Ring rolls around 2.5 months later in '94, he's not even on the damn card. SummerSlam, he has a tremendous match with Tatanka, but he's not even in the top contendership at that point. Fast forward to Survivor Series, he loses his team versus team match against the $1 Million Team. Fast forward to Rumble '95, he's in the Rumble, but he's not really a competitor. WrestleMania 11, unless you really truly remember that WrestleMania, you wouldn't even remember who he faced at WrestleMania 11. Now, I remember it was the Allied Powers versus the Blue Brothers, but then you fast forward on to King of the Ring 95. He's totally irrelevant. They just, those were the core pay-per-views of the time. You didn't have all the in your houses. You didn't have all the extra stuff. So when you take somebody who was a top tremendous character and you just totally force them down, I don't think he had a choice. He had to go somewhere and make himself relevant again. If he didn't go there, ultimately he gets pushed so far down the card. He's not relevant. He's probably working a lot of house shows. Eventually, he gets future endeavored, and maybe he never goes to WWE. Maybe he just kind of goes away, and that's very unfortunate. But if you think about really truly the history of what was going on with him, even the Monday Night Raws, which all of us are doing, or most of us are doing the Monday Night Raw rewatch, you don't even see a lot of Lex on Raw post WrestleMania 10. And that to me is crazy.
I agree.
I hope that's sufficient in the answer, but I don't think he had a choice.
Absolutely.
He had to go somewhere.
I mean, his biggest run was what? The Lex Express?
Well, and see, that was in 93, the summer of 93.
Yeah, I mean, Lex
So-
Express, look how popular that was. I mean, it was, I remember watching
Yeah.
it as a kid, and like, man, this guy's amazing. And then he just kind of
Yep.
slowly fizzles out.
Yeah, well, he really fizzled out, prior to WrestleMania 10, because going into WrestleMania 10, you really truly believed he was going to be champion, even if he won it from Yoko and lost it to Brett later that night, or vice versa. You really truly believed he was going to be champion at some point.
Absolutely.
And immediately following WrestleMania 10, immediately following it, he was working house shows with Kurt Hennig. That's a true story. You can go research that and look it up. He was working house shows with Mr. Perfect, not even on the pay-per-view of the King of the Ring 94. And a lot of us have just watched. Roger could probably tell you. Brian could probably tell you. Wiseman, Dr. Nick could probably tell you. King of the Ring 94 is a long-ass, big-ass pay-per-view. There's a ton of matches, and they couldn't find one single spot on that card for Lex Luger. He does the run-in to cost Yoko and Crush the tag titles. That's his biggest part of that pay-per-view. And at the time, you only had those 5 pay-per-views a year, and he's not even on the card. That right there, the writing was on the wall. You had a lot of people on that card that he could have easily replaced. And I'm not trying to put him down, but 1, 2, 3 Kid was in the tournament. Jeff Jarrett was in the tournament. IRS, who I think very highly of, was in the tournament. Mabel was in the tournament. A lot of those guys could have not been in that tournament. You also had in the corner of Bret Hart versus Diesel. Diesel had Shawn in the corner. You had Jimmy Anvil Neidhart in the corner of Bret, because they were setting up that storyline of Owen Hart and Anvil versus Bret and Bulldog. But you could have easily had Lex in the corner of Bret going into that match, because there had been some feuding. There had been some feuding with Diesel and Shawn and Lex prior to that. So you could have very easily had him in the corner, and you could have worked a different angle with Anvil. So there was a lot there, but not to have him on that card, it was like immediately following WrestleMania 10, he was done.
Okay, before we go into our main topic, does anybody else want to ask Will any other questions real fast? All right, we cool. All right,
Great
our main
questions. Thanks for asking. That's
yeah,
great
I love.
questions.
That's why I wanted to give everybody a chance to ask you.
I hope I was sufficient in the answers, but that's just
Absolutely.
the way I see it.
No, I agree with you. Plus, we got that awesome Owen and Brett versus Brett match. Because if if Brett got the shot first, it was going to be Brett versus Crush. Is that right?
No, it would have been Lex. Would have been Lex versus Crush.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You wouldn't have had Macho versus Crush.
Yeah, and that was a great match too. I loved 10. It was fantastic. All right, guys, we are going to discuss our favorite. We're going to come up with our favorite 3 finishers. We're going to go around the room and we're going to discuss them. And I'll start first. And one of mine is the no particular order. Is the Perfect Plex. I loved when Kurt Hennig became Mr. Perfect. I loved when Mr. Perfect, he used that. If you could find any move, because that Fisherman Suplex to me is a perfect finisher, because not only is it a suplex, you hook that leg and it comes up in a pin. I thought that was fantastic and just perfect for him. And it's always been one of the greatest finishers in my mind. Not just, everybody can do the fisherman suplex, and it's not just exactly the way Perfect done it. It's because he was Mr. Perfect and he did it. It was the perfect plex.
Yep.
It went great with his character, and I just loved it together because what way could you pin your opponent being Mr. Perfect is a suplex and holding their leg. Second's got to come in is I got to say the DDT. Jake Roberts, invented that thing. Not much I can really say about it. Everybody knows that it was an awesome finisher. You got to know how to do it. Other people have done it. Arn's done it. I actually like the way Arn does the DDT too. Don't get me wrong, but since Jake was the start of it, I'll go on and say him. And my favorite one of all time is Bret Hart's sharpshooter. That maneuver. He took it. He ran with it. I know people say Sting. They may some people in here may even say Sting's is better or whatever. Somebody else. Well, it's just my favorite is Bret's. You knew when he put that on, you were done, and he done it so well. Bret was such a technician. You actually, my opinion, I actually enjoyed watching him when he grabbed that leg and he twirled around. I actually enjoyed him administering a move as much as sitting there putting it on and putting pressure. So it was actually him doing it. You knew where it was going to lead to. You knew it was close to the finish of the match. It was just a thing of beauty. And to me, that's my 3, and Bret Sharpshooter is my number 1. You ready, Brian?
Yep.
Make sure
All right,
we're keeping track of these so we get a winner.
Yep.
Okay.
So like Kev, this is in no particular order. Tombstone Pile Driver. The reason I say that is because back in the day when Undertaker was, he had that wonky tombstone where like one arm was hanging out and one was in, and boom, right to the ground, right? And then he'd do the thing. But yeah, the Tombstone Pile Driver is one for me. Number 2 would be the Stone Cold Stunner, or Stunner just in general. I mean, that move was just, so many people took it and so many people sold for it. And number 3, and I can't believe you haven't said this, Kev, Razor's Edge, Razor Ramon. You pick him up off the thing and you just boom, slam him down. I mean, it was great. So
it was a very innovative move, for his time.
It was. When and I'd like to say that earlier in his career is when he really launched those dudes, and they like landed on the back of their head. Obviously older, so he couldn't do it probably as good as he wanted to do. But yeah, those are my 3.
Damn, Razor was so hot. He should have had a title run. I know I don't want to get off course, but he should have had a title run. Man, he was so big. And then that, you said, the finisher.
Hey, we talk about it all the time, Kev. It's okay.
So, all right, Will, we're ready for you, brother.
All right. In no particular order, but, obviously the sharpshooter for me, Bret's my all-time favorite. The fact that he could put it on basically anywhere from any angle. He got innovative with it later in his career, wrapping it around the ring post. And, I mean, the dude was just doing all kinds of stuff with it. And, obviously the sharpshooter for me is just, that's the move. Number 2, believe it or not, is the power bomb. And I'll tell you why I think the power bomb is so impressive, because obviously guys like Sid, like Diesel, like Vader, so many guys using the power bomb. Even the Undertaker, he made a modification to it, but it called it the Last Ride. But you go back and even look at you and I have talked about this a lot, Kev. Vader used to do an inverted power bomb as well. Like he would roll them up backwards and power bomb them on their face. And if you've never seen that, man, you missed out, because there's a Clash of the Champions. I'll share a clip later tonight.
He beat Dustin with that move.
He did. There's the Clash of the Champions where he faced Dustin. I'll share the clip later tonight in the Top Rope Talk chat. But he would invert the power bomb sometimes, and it was even more devastating than the regular power bomb. All these power bombs were tremendous. And then, of course, probably the most devastating move of all time, I can't believe it didn't come up in the first 2, is the Banzai drop. I don't think there's a more effective finisher anywhere ever. The Banzai drop. And sometimes, too, if you ever watch, like Yoko would lose his footing, and as he would crash down, his feet would kind of go out from under him. So the guys that are on the receiving end of that are catching a whole lot of that weight right down on the sternum. Tremendous finisher. So
And Kevin Van Gouder said Sid's Powerbomb is his number one. His number two would be Triple H's Pedigree, and his number three is, I guess, the Demolition from Demolition.
Yep, those are great too.
Thanks for sharing that, Kevin.
Yeah.
All right, Calvin, the Gator Man, you're up.
Oh, I mean, my first is gonna be the Torture Rack with Lex Luger.
Good pick.
That's a good one.
I'd say the figure 4, but I'm gonna up it one to the figure 8 with Charlotte Flair. And then
Nice.
the Samoan Spike.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
That's all good. Those are all great.
I can't believe Calvin didn't pick the leg drop, the Hogan leg drop.
I fooled you on that one.
You did. You did.
All right, Dr. Nick, you ready for us?
Yep. So Kev took one of mine, but Jake's DDT, I loved his the best because the way he would hook it and just wham, like it was just so quick.
Yes,
Like
sir.
some of them, you know, like would go slow, like Randy does it off the ropes, or some of them would kind of do like a slide into it. Jake's was boom, just right into it. And especially the DDT that he did to Ricky Steamboat on the floor where it knocked him out. I mean, hell, I thought he was dead.
He tried to tell them all. They wouldn't listen to it.
Oh, yeah. He's like, trust me, you don't want to do this. I like Sean's Sweet Chin music. And I'm not talking about that shitty super kicks from the freaking Elite. Fuck them. The
Agreed.
super kick is so overly done, and it doesn't even look like it kills anybody anymore. Sean's just boom, the way he would make that sound. I mean, it looked like it sounded and looked like he kicked their head off, and it would just come out of nowhere. That's what was so good about it. And my third one, this is probably my favorite, and I think the reason why I enjoyed it so much was because of the fact that it could be done from so many different places. It could be done from the top rope. It could be done from, you know, off the apron. It could be done from standing up. I liked Billy Gunn's Famouser because, I mean, he could be anywhere and just wham, bring his leg down and just shove the guy's head into the mat. And, you know, even though Billy Gunn, his career is, you know, he's bigger now than he ever was.
True.
And in better shape too. But, you know, for the, you know, short time that he was, you know, in the WWE, I mean, that was always one of my favorites just because it was so unique and devastating maneuver. And it had a funny name, Famouser, you know.
Yeah, and he was Mr. Ass.
Yeah, so,
That was-
you know.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
Phil,
an ass man.
yeah, Phil said Ravens Even Flowed is nice DDT as well.
I agree.
And he also said, let me put that up here by Phil. He also said Billy Gunn's his favorite of all time. So that's cool.
Just my opinion, and you guys can tell me what you think later. But I think Billy Gunn's biggest character and the best he ever did for me was as a smoking gun. I know he was huge in DX. I know he was huge on his own, but I really liked him best as a smoking gun, Billy Gunn.
OE says, I'm sorry to say this. Hogan leg drop was one of the dumbest finishing moves he could have. He could have had a better one. You know,
Hey, you're entitled to your opinion.
that's your opinion, so that's all that matters.
Everybody has their opinion, but you know, I put this in the chat yesterday. The elevation Hogan got on his leg drops is what made it believable. A lot of guys just walk over and just basically fall down on their opponent. Hogan would elevate himself, and I think, you know, maybe we missed the point of that in the chat yesterday because somebody said, you know, elevation. What are you talking about? It's a leg drop. Hogan would get 4.5, 5 feet in the air and drop that leg on you. And to me, it made it look believable. I get it. It's a leg drop, but it's still a 320-pound guy dropping, you know, a 47 or 48-inch leg on you. You know, I mean, that's still a tremendous move. So
Well, look how
I-
well the Rock's people's elbow got over, and look how simple that was.
yeah, but The Rock was another 285 pound talent. Or
Exactly.
pound talent. You know, dropping an elbow. 285-pound guy drops an elbow in the center of your chest. You're going to sit there and think about it for a minute. I mean, it's not, you know, oh man, he couldn't really, you know, beat nobody with that move. You got to think about a 285-pound guy dropping his weight from the point of his elbow into your chest. You know, he has momentum coming. It's just, like I said, the elevation on Hogan's leg drop to me is what sold it as a finisher. And we can all go back and forth on all that all day long, and I won't keep going, but you know, that's what was key.
And Kevin Van Gilder wants to know, y'all didn't like Rockabilly? Come on. Rockabilly was awesome.
I'm not saying I didn't like his other characters. There's nothing wrong with the other
We're just
characters.
mainly
The guy
talking
was
about Rockabilly.
he was extremely innovative, okay? But
Rockabilly was horrible. I'm just joking with you.
but-
I didn't like it.
even the Billy and Chuck thing was extremely innovative. He kept innovating himself to become and maintain relevance. I get it. But I'm just saying, you know, for me, him as the Smoking Gun was my best character for him. After that, I didn't really enjoy watching him as much as I did as a Smoking Gun. That's all I'm saying.
He put a smiley face afterwards, so he was just joking with us. And Clayton didn't Hogan use the Axe Bomber in Japan?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, who's up next? Ben?
Ben Bohan.
Like everybody's comments, finishing moves. A lot of us was thinking the same wavelength on a lot of these.
But that doesn't matter because that's why we're voting. So if you got the same,
but I kind of went a little off topic today and chose the best finishers by each like division. So I did like a heavyweight, a cruiserweight, or for the ones under 200 pounds, and then I did a tag team. And to me, probably my top three. But number one, Powerbomb. Jackknife Powerbomb is my number one favorite finisher. Just if I was a character, that's what I would. If I could do it, that'd been the finishing move I'd use.
Oh yeah.
Number two was for the cruiserweight was the Shooting Star Press by Billy Kidman. Man, that thing where he just did that reverse flip up in the air and just had that gravity and took forever, and he finally hit it. Was beautiful, especially in the late 90s. You didn't really see a lot of that moves. And for an actual, not a lucha libre or Japanese wrestler, to see Billy Kidman do it was wild. And then the third one was probably my second favorite of all finishing moves, the Dudley, the 3D from the Dudley Boys, the Death Drop. Like I said, that's still a badass move. Sending people through tables, doing that. Like I said, that was still a great finishing move. So those are my three finishing moves.
So just to add to that, Ben Bowman, you are a character.
That's right. I'm special too.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Window liquor
Ben-
special.
Ben started the conversation with, if I was a character, you are a character.
You are a damn character.
Ben's special move would be a slap to the Kev's face.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
God.
It'd be like,
No, it
cutting
would
the
be
hand.
It'd be he'd
Actually,
run a door and
my
hit
finishing
people
move
with
would be a pal driver.
Yeah.
Through a picnic table.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And Wells got the marker shaker.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, we're done. Thank
A
y'all.
pile driver through a picnic table.
I must have told y'all that story. Shit.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay,
Oh, fuck.
Mr. Roger Elkins, we're going to let you take it, brother.
So one of my favorite moves is the Frankensteiner. To me, that
Nice.
just the elevation and the talent it took to make that move happen.
Especially with Steiner doing it, right? Scott Steiner, I mean, he was a big guy anyway.
And the devastation that it appeared to inflict on their opponents was just jaw dropping. I mean, it was just amazing. I'm a cutter guy, so of course, the diamond cutter, and if we're talking nowadays, then I'd say the Cody cutter.
Sweet.
Nice. I like it.
And
I like the
that
diamond
just
cutter
add to that
especially.
when everybody does a Frankensteiner now if you're cruiserweight, but when you first
Yeah.
seen Scott Steiner do that and way hit their head, would hit the mat, you just done thought he killed the man. I mean,
Yeah.
it was over. I mean, you're like, how
Hey.
in the hell did he do that?
Braun Breaker does one now too. So
Yep. Sure does.
Well, and don't forget too, Scotty Steiner. You guys can research this. I could be wrong, but Scotty Steiner is about 275 pounds. Also,
Yeah,
that's a heavy guy jumping to put his legs over your shoulders in midair. I mean, you think about that. You think about anybody you know that you could run up and put both your legs over their shoulders. I don't care if they were a little person. It would be hard as hell to do that, to run and put both your legs over their shoulders, wrap their head in between your legs, and throw them all in
and
one
then do the
swift motion.
complete flip.
She
Yep.
was 350, but it didn't matter.
and no top rope either. I mean, he bounced them against the rope and done it in the middle of the ring.
Will,
Wouldn't
Will,
said-
it happens
wouldn't
all the
said
time.
little
Will, she's just 350 when she does it. It's okay.
No way.
What the hell are you talking about?
There ain't no damn way.
Nope.
Think about it. I mean, anybody you know, think about, could you run and put your legs over their shoulders in one motion and flip them over? Ain't nobody in this room could do that shit. I don't care who you are.
Next time, let's try it on
I tried to
Kev.
break my. I
He
tried to break.
ain't try a damn thing on me.
Let's
Why
try it on
Kev?
Ben.
Yeah, but I'm gonna try to do it on Ben. I ain't having none of y'all's nasty ass crotches in my face.
Anybody
try-
in here would
I'm not
fall,
either.
shatter,
Ben
Y'all
wants
would
to-
shatter some
wants to dig in his
vertebrae.
face.
Drop down hips.
y'all would shatter some vertebrae immediately when you fell. You'd probably crack a rib. I mean, you'd probably bruise a kidney. You'd be in the ER by
Shit
the
my
time you tried the
pants.
Frankensteiner.
Dude,
That
I'd break a
shit
hip,
would be
bone them into the ropes.
I'm just saying, let's
absolutely.
try it on the smallest guy in here. Let's try it on Ben.
But
There you
Ben's still almost 6 foot tall, man. How you gonna get your legs over his shoulders? That's the
irrelevant.
thing. That's the thing, is how you gonna run and jump. That's what makes that such a great move. Great move to bring up. I'm glad you mentioned that.
There's a reason that on Before Raw and stuff it says do not try this at home.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Manuel, your turn, brother.
I should have went first because fuck, two of mine are gone.
Well, say it anyway.
okay.
That's fun.
So,
That's
so my
the
first
point.
one. So my first one is going to be off the Steiner screwdriver.
Okay.
You
That's
remember
good
that?
Yeah.
I
That was a
remember
badass
watching
move.
it as a kid, and I'm like, man, what the fuck? This guy's gonna kill somebody. I mean, it was awesome to watch such a big guy make that move look so just effortless. I mean, it was the Steiner screwdriver. He didn't use it often, but when he did, I'm sure it did not feel good. I mean, it was. I thought it was amazing work of art for being, what you said, 270 some odd pounds. I mean, it's
At least. He's a big
and
dude.
that's generous,
Yep.
And then the perfect plex. I mean, watching him. I mean, he did it early in WWE, and it was nice, and I liked it. But I really fell in love with it when he did it to the Giant, and it was effortless. I mean, he did it to the Giant, and I was like, man, that's a big man. And then my last one is probably the 7-year itch, aka the Shooting Star Press. I mean, Billy Kidman. And he just never knew he was up there, but you never knew when he was going to do it. I mean, you always thought he would just do it like a, crossbody or, an elbow. But I mean, he like Ben said, the amount of time he stayed up in the air you thought he was just floating. I mean, I remember when he used to just, burn it with hoovy juice up with it. I mean, it was just like, I'm like, God. I remember trying it as a kid off the couch, and it didn't work,
It did work or didn't?
It didn't work. I didn't make it past my neck. Is
that why you're short?
It is.
Damn,
I was
okay.
6'3" at one time. But I mean, it's just one of those moves. It's like a work of art. I mean, just anybody couldn't do it. I mean, it's just one of those things that you look at it and you're like, man, that's even as he got older and he came to WWE and he got older and he still did it and it still looked good. I mean, even when he, botched it that time, he botched it. he still botched it, and it still kind of looked halfway decent.
So I think this is your buddy here, man, talking. Said, man, he looked like Brock Lesnar doing it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm Brock Lesnar's athletic. I just didn't know what I was doing.
Appreciate the comment, Phil.
So Kev, I think we got a tie on the sharpshooter, the DDT, the shooting star press, and the power bomb. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And the perfect plex.
And the perfect plex. So we got a tie on those. So we're gonna have to break the tie. So either we're gonna need people to comment between those choices, or we're gonna have to put a tab or a vote on the page
Do a
and let
vote.
them decide. Let them decide between those the greatest finisher, because I thought it would be a clear-cut winner, but there is no clear-cut winner on this. Just a quick honorable mention, Kev. The stump puller was a tremendous finisher
Sure
that
was.
no one ever thinks of, and the spike pile driver, where you would go to pile drive somebody and your partner would be on the second rope, and they would come down and they would help you pile drive somebody into the mat. Those two moves, I think, right there, just some great honorable mentions. And one last one too would be Papa Shango's shoulder breaker. That was a tremendous move too. It was almost like the tombstone pile driver, except for you would land on the guy's knee. Now, thinking about it, if you were the guy doing the shoulder breaker, that would hurt you like hell, because you're bringing all that guy's weight down on your knee. But in the ring, it looked tremendous. So we got one vote right there for the power bomb. I say we definitely put it up
Yeah, we got to put it up
immediately
on the page.
following. What's that?
We need to put that up on the page.
Yeah, I agree. I say we put it up on the page and we get a full
I
vote.
had an honorable mention. My honorable mention would have been the Canadian Destroyer.
That's a damn good move, and I was thinking about you saying that. Yeah.
I was going to. It was either that or the Steiner screwdriver, and I just thought, I just want to say screwdriver on a live.
Mr.
Nice.
Van Gilder says that he's surprised no one said Macho Man elbow or 5-star frog splash. With both are excellent.
I was too. I was surprised about the Macho's elbow, because it's definitely a favorite finisher. You'd love to see Macho Man get up on the top, put his fingers to the sky, and deliver that elbow. But I think, the idea everybody had was more of a devastating finisher than they did something that looked cool. Now, I'm not saying, again, a 250-pound wrestler jumping off a top rope 10 feet in the air and driving his elbow into your chest doesn't hurt like hell or wouldn't hurt like hell. I'm just saying people were looking at, like I was looking at the power bomb as just tremendous devastation. I was looking at the bonsai drop as tremendous devastation. So I think people are looking at it like that. But we can put some of the honorable mentions as options to vote on the poll as well.
We
But
love
I
doing
think
polls on the page.
it's a great topic. And I think, no matter how much we put effort into it, it's one that you could just talk about forever,
Easy.
So when Sid first started doing the power bomb, he started in Memphis, and he done it to Jamie Dundee, and they sold it well. I think that's when they were still going with the USWA, and they sold it that he broke Jamie's neck, and he didn't, Jamie didn't show up, and they were having vignettes in the hospital. So that's when Lawler was still doing some of the booking. So that, when I first heard Sid Vicious and the name Power Bomb, man, that was, I think I read it in one of the magazines, because he wasn't really, and this is when I was very young. You just like, oh my God, he actually broke somebody's neck, and I didn't even know who Sid was. And then I see that power bomb come up there. I'm like, man, whoever uses that, they're going to kill somebody.
When he first started doing it, though, I could be wrong, but wasn't he Lord Humongous when he started doing that move? Yeah. But first
Better
of all,
than him trying
if
to use
you've
a pair
never
of scissors
seen
to stab Art Anderson.
Exactly. First of all, if you've never seen Lord Humongous, the character, he was intimidating by himself. Like, he didn't even have to wrestle you. Just walking out to the ring, the dude
Is
was
that when he
scary.
wore like the hockey mask?
It is.
Yeah.
I know
Yep.
what that is. That was a take on Mad Max.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yep. Absolutely.
And OE's got that. That's got to be Yokozuna, just like a 300-pound guy coming off the second rope. That got to hurt. Splash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this move wouldn't really hurt, but I'm surprised no one said the stinky face. I'm surprised Ben didn't. I'm surprised Ben didn't pick that one.
Just because it would suck to have it done to you.
It would. It would really suck.
Unless it was like, Tiffany Stratton or something doing it to you.
If it was Rhea Ripley,
Well,
It is
one
after
thing
nine-
I've
it
heard
is
is
after
that
9
everybody
o'clock.
that said that they took it from Rikishi, he always made sure to shower beforehand, and I guess he would spray his tights with like cologne.
The Booker
So I-
Plasma.
That's some
I
of the
called
story I
I
heard.
call bullshit. I call bullshit on that, but I get it. But I call
Well,
bullshit.
remember when Andre shit on Junkyard, or no, who was it? He shit on Bad News Brown.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Good Lord.
that's what
There
Lord
he is.
Humongous looked like.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have
That's
that
what he
same-
looked like.
he
You don't
took over-
remember?
who started it?
You-
Jeff Van Camp, I think, started
Yeah.
it.
If you don't remember Lord Humongous character, man,
yes,
I'm telling you.
yes, Kev.
All right. All right, cool deal, guys. Appreciate all y'all's answers. Everybody that's watching, appreciate your answers that you put in the chat. And we're going to go to our show and tell. Everybody ready? I need to get my
Yep.
stuff. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. Let's see if I know how to do this. Okay, I'm gonna go first, guys. First, my demand, my
Oh, shit.
sign,
Woo!
Coyote,
Hey
and
yo,
Coyote and Eagle,
Definitely. Hey, yo.
Dan Spivey. I'll get him to call him Dan Severn. But there he is, JSA certified. One of my grails. Love it.
that's a really rarity right there.
And I have one more at popular demand also.
Woo!
Dusty
Oh
Rhodes.
yeah.
Claim.
Dusty Rhodes. I love this artwork. It is beautiful. I think when I bought this, Ben put it up just to show it. And I said, is this for sale? And he's like, well, anything for sale is if you make a good offer. So I think I made a good offer at that time, and that's how I got it.
Yep. Those were the two I regretted. We talked about it earlier. Those were the two items I regretted in the past letting go. But I'm glad, kid, you got them, brother.
Well, they're treasured, brother. So thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Brian, we're up next with you,
All
brother.
right. So I got this from Will.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Love the king.
I love that blue.
Long live
I
the
got-
king, baby.
So the last show we did in St. Louis, Typhoon was our guest, and I got this triple signed Typhoon tugboat Shockmaster.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at that blue. I love that blue.
It's a custom edit too, guys. TRC does the best custom edits. So
Damn right we do.
I also got this from Ben in the last live.
Woo!
WWE
Damn, that was
stickers.
good.
Pick up those. Those are awesome. I wonder
Oh,
who
that
picked
was
those
quick.
up.
Yeah, they're awesome. And then I also got this in. This is pretty sweet.
Woo!
Oh,
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
That's awesome.
And then Manuel was talking earlier about never having a Hogan, and I said I was going to show this Hogan that I got from Will a couple years ago. I got to be able to get it out here. Will can talk about this more than me, but
Oh
There you
man.
go.
So you know what's so significant about that is you only saw him wear that attire for a very short time. So right after Bash of the Beats, of course, immediately he turns into a bad guy. Then right going into Hog Wild 96, right as he goes into being world champion again, he's got this Terminator apparel on, which is like, why the hell is he wearing Terminator? And it's before you even saw anything that ever said New World Order, because when Hogan made the announcement at Bash of the Beats 96, he said the New World Order of Professional Wrestling is what he said.
Right.
So they were
correct.
still kind of toying around with the idea of the name. So the very first shirts that ever came out just said NWO. They didn't say New World Order or any of that stuff. So there it is. It's getting into match time, and he's got this Terminator on his shirt with NWO, and very, very few, if ever, will you see him in the Terminator gimmick. And that's the only one of those, correct me if I'm wrong, that I've ever had with him wearing the Terminator shirt. And that's what makes it so unique. And of course, it's signed Hollywood Hogan, gorgeous signature. beautiful item, but you know, it's hard to find him in anything where he had that Terminator attire.
So real fast, I want to say back what's up to Richard Sutton. He's watching, and Kevin Van Gouder has a question for you, Brian.
Am I gonna do this? No, I'm not gonna keep them in the trapper keeper. I should, but no, they'll stay
You
right
put
where
them
they're
back
at.
there on that refrigerators, peel them off, put them on
I
the
mean,
fridge.
Those
These
are
stickers
gorgeous, man.
These stickers are from 1990,
They're gorgeous.
and they look phenomenal.
They were awesome.
So
Great
They're
pickup.
gorgeous.
thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
You're
I have to
welcome.
get a Hogan.
All right, next is Will. Let's go, brother.
All right. I got two things real fast. One, I don't think I've ever shown this, but this is an original. It is a original promo of Crush, Evil Crush.
I love Evil Crush.
There cannot be a lot of these out there. Of course, it's not signed, unfortunately, but it is an original promo. Absolutely love this promo. I wanted to show that off. There can't be many of those out there.
Well, thank
I
you.
don't really even know what it's.
Appreciate that.
I don't really even know what it's worth,
I think
but
it's beautiful.
I absolutely love it. And then I think I showed this. I can't remember, but a while back we were talking about some of our favorite elites, and one of my favorite elites of all time is the Jerry Lawler elite, where he's wearing the blue cape. But also
I need that
the
bad.
newest Survivor Series elite that came out last year. It's hard to beat that one too. The only thing I would change is I wish it had soft goods on it instead of the hard rubber coat. But otherwise, absolutely almost flawless figure. The face scan on it is tremendous. The crown, the tights, absolutely love the figure. So long live the king. And that's all I'm going to show for tonight.
Is that a Walmart exclusive or just wherever?
It was one of those Survivor Series figures that came out. It was the Build-A-Figure with the Bulldog. I ended up getting mine off of eBay, unfortunately. I hate buying anything from eBay, but I try to buy everything in TRC.
I think it's what I'm going to have to do because I love it.
Absolutely love that figure. Ben may have one. He's had one available. I don't know if he still does.
How about
I just have one for my personal collection.
Damn
But
you.
Kev, I'll be on the lookout for you.
I appreciate it, bro. All right, Calvin, we got you.
I don't have nothing.
Well, you can just tell us something that's in your collection.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'll have more next week. I got a big package coming from Will.
Okay, cool deal. We'll get you next week then. Glad
think
to
you
have you
have-
on the show too. By the way, we love having you, and it's
I think
cool.
you have 2 or 3 packages coming from me, actually.
Yeah.
All right, Guru, you're next, brother.
All right. So I got this from Ben, and
Jesus,
everybody loves a Hemi.
you're right.
I mean, how do you not love Christy Hemi?
I love those two Hemis.
Yeah. And then
That reminds me, I gotta
also-
get milk later.
I also got this from Ben. I got this bad boy from Ben. It's lovely.
Oh, you got that's
Love it.
pickup.
Yeah, you did get that.
I mean, in some places I can still get this signed.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, you can still get Ricky to sign
Still
it,
get
but
Ricky to
in
sign
some
I can
places
still
you
get
can
Macho in
to
some
sign it.
places. So that's,
Oh
that's
man,
all I got.
I love Manuel. I'm gonna go on record right now and say I love Manuel.
So that's all I got till I get my package from Will. Then I'll have a nice Brooklyn Brawler I can show.
Cool deal.
Yeah, you got a big package coming too, man. So guys, anybody waiting on a package, Jess has worked double shifts all week, so all packages will be done tonight and in the mail tomorrow morning if you're waiting on a package.
Thank you, Miss Jess. You're the best.
And here goes Mr. Roger Elkins, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. Just got a couple things. Got my package from Ben with my Typhoon from the
Oh, yeah.
TLC signing.
I love that white, man. That white is nice.
That white pops on this bad. It is amazing. I love it. And then got one of my newest Grail pieces.
There we go.
Yes.
Jerry the King Lawler, Long Live the King, and Jim Ross.
Nice.
There'll be a lot of debates about who are the best commentating teams. I think out of the most recent times in the 90s and 2000s, or 2000s to 2010, I guess you could say. I'd say these are probably the best. These two right here.
They're definitely up there.
And then thanks to Mr. Ben Bowman as well, I got my Jimmy Hart Simpsons picture signed as well. And
How
that's
many
all I got.
Simpsons you have now, brother?
Counting what I just got from Ben, which includes the Typhoon Simpsons, I'd say I'm looking at probably close to 25.
Oh, sweet.
25 plus 30.
Nice.
That's my thing now is the Simpsons thing. So
Nice.
And to answer your question, OE, I'm pretty positive that came from Get Out of My House, Ben.
All three of my Hemis came from Get Out of My House, Ben.
Because he got to get him out of his house.
It's not get out of my. It's get it out of my
get
house.
out of my house.
I told y'all Ben was a character.
And a whore. He can't have horror stuff laying around.
Wow.
He likes those horror. He likes those horror movies.
Yep.
So that's how you
Right.
really feel.
Those horror movies. Thank you, Roger. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Ben Bowman, you're next.
All right, I'm gonna be really quick on mine.
That's what
Which
she said.
When are you
Different.
quick?
that's right. I'm a 60-minute man. Woo!
You never talk quick.
Claim.
So I got the new CM Punk shirt.
Claim.
Sorry,
claim.
I got the new CM Punk shirt, and then for me as well, got the new Sting split
Claim.
face.
Claim.
So those are the only my only newest additions to my stuff is the two new T-shirts.
Those are awesome.
Ben's going to wear them tonight walking around the house. I just know it.
Yeah.
He is. He's gonna say that's his fault, brother. All right, Dr. Nick, we're ready, brother.
So this is one of my box sets. This is a Toys R Us
wow.
exclusive
Oh, that's
T-shirt
awesome.
series. Jax did do cloth goods, but it was not very often. So to get merch shirts, especially with Austin, like as a matter of fact, the one in the middle, they're doing a brand new Elite with the half skull face and the half Austin face coming
Oh,
up.
that's cool.
So
Nice.
I loved when Jax did these box sets. They were so cool and unique. So, Toys R Us had exclusive ones. Kmart had exclusive ones, and KB Toys had one. So it was always fun to kind of hunt them down.
Fantastic. All right,
That's all I got.
appreciate you much for showing that.
Awesome.
Y'all, all great stuff, guys. And this brings us to the end of our show. We want to appreciate everybody and thank you all for commenting. And we are going to go around and let everybody say our goodbyes and take it home. And we'll start with Brian.
Again, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of the TRC family. Thanks for all you guys do coming in the lives and talking and buying and claiming, and yeah, just keep doing that. We we love you guys.
Will?
So one thing that I want to mention this week that we've done differently and going forward we're going to do differently is we now have what's called the TRC recap. So a lot of the stuff that if you missed during the live sale and it's still available, we're planning to post that on Wednesdays following the live sales on Tuesdays. So a lot of people will be able to see that. And, we worked really hard to make sure we came up with a good shipping price no matter what the item or items may be. So we've got a flat shipping rate on those to help everybody out. So even if, it's going to cost us $12 or $15 to ship it, we're only charging $6 on the shipping. So that's, a big deal there. You're going to save some money there. Also, too, if you purchase it during the live and you go over $100, you're going to get free shipping. So, we're doing a lot of different things like that. Last year, 2023, in the month of May, we started what we call the Give Back program to our viewers and our buyers in the shows. And I think this summer we're going to bring that back too in different ways. So we'll have different ways that we'll be doing that all summer long. But definitely go check out that TRC recap. we're gonna start leaving those up all week long. They're gonna come down on Fridays, and then you'll have a new one up every Wednesday as well. So very cool. Excited about that. And I think that's all I have. Checked out on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. A lot of new stuff came in this week, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you much, Will. How about it, Calvin?
Oh, thank y'all for letting me join y'all again this week. Totally off subject. Since summer just started, everybody's traveling. Y'all know what I do. I drive a truck, so I see a lot of shit. Stay off your phone. You ain't got to be in a hurry to get nowhere.
Yes, sir.
That text can wait.
Yes, sir. And we hope to see you next week, too.
I'm going to try my best.
Yes, sir. All right, Dr. Nick.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Tune in every week to the live shows. You never know what you're going to see. You're going to see some very unique items. And thanks for, just being a part of all this. We all love wrestling and we all love hanging out. So
yes, we do.
Thanks,
That's
everybody.
the biggest thing. Hanging out with our friends. That's what this is all about. And OE has a comment of the night. TRC is not just a group, it's a family.
Kind of like Olive Garden.
Thank you for that, OE. How about it, Ben? You're on mute, brother.
Yeah, I got people talking. Yes, thank you so much. Great show, guys. Great items, great conversation. Like I said, we can't do this without each and every one of the members. You guys, like I said, this is fun. Like I said, this is what we look forward to every week, just to get on here and talk, see each other. Like I said, yes, we are a family. We're close. Please check out the lives on Tuesday. Please check out the TRC live recaps. We got, like I said, I think I had like 20 featured items. Like I said, it's just in case if you didn't miss it, because we get a lot of people asking us, hey, I can't make it Tuesday. I can't, got to work, got something else come up. That way it gives you a chance to at least see that. And also, please check out the replays. We have the replay video. So if you want to go back and watch a good hour and a half of live, a live show, please check that out. We got a lot of things still working. We got some big talents coming up very soon. Like I said, our next show's not till August, so we got a couple months to get prepped for that. But like I said, we got a lot of big things coming this summer. So just please keep an eye out on the page. And other than that, thank you.
Thank you, Ben, for that. Roger, my brother, you're up.
I can't express over express more of what everybody said. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for joining the lives. We really appreciate you guys, and you guys make the shows. So thank you. Please continue, and I hope you have a great week and a great weekend. We'll see you next week on Tuesday, and then here again on Thursday.
We appreciate you, Roger. Thank you. Guru, you're going to wrap us up.
Save the cutest for the last. I like it.
I never said that. I just said Guru.
Check us out on Tuesday nights. It's the Power Hour with maybe or may not be overtime each week, but it's a great show. If you see something you like, hey, and you like it, make an offer. Worst they can say is no.
Yeah, exactly.
Check us out on Thursdays. Check out the recap on Wednesdays. Invest in older talent. Invest in older talent. You see one of us at a convention, come up and say hi. You see it in the store and you want it, buy it. Because like Ben said, it's probably not going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, didn't you have a Hogan thing where you
16
saw like,
Hogans.
Okay.
16 Hogans were gone, and the next day I was pissed.
That's insane, dude.
wow.
Well, I have Hogans in my collection, but it's like the Hogan in the NWO and Hogan at the funeral parlor, but I don't have any solo Hogans. So,
all right, guys, appreciate you so much, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.